George Barbour, KDKA, I tell you what, he is, in fact, a living legend. I'll bring you up to date on George at the end of the show. But when we sat down and did this interview, it was 30 years ago on the 25th anniversary of the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Didn't realize that I'd still be talking about that interview now 30 years later. But one of the things that I asked him about was if he thought ahead to what he thought life would be like in this country years from then. Here's what he had to say.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not. I know that I knew that the future would be better because of the sacrifices of so many people and what they were in the past. Because in the past, Selma, if you go back in history, was a capital of the Confederacy, one of the major slave trading centers, and you could see the remnants of the slave trade shacks and so forth there. But however, undergirding all this were a number of people who were solid, who were pushers, who were just people who could do things and were determined to change things around. I knew it would be much better, but I did not. I gave no thought as to just what it would be. I knew it would be better because there were so many good people there with a lot of not only sense of values, but also with the expertise and with the education and with the belief in the civil rights movement to change things. And a little opinion on what's happening there today. I do not know all the facts about the current situation pertaining to the schools. But I do know this, that it's rather odd where you have a city that is predominantly black, that you have a school board that's the majority is white. And so basically you still have that white-black clash there. And also an amazing person who was there as mayor is the same mayor who's there today.
Right.
And to me, at that time, he was a person who did a beautiful job of straddling the fence. And apparently, it seems as though he's still tightrope walking. Yeah, so that's my commentary on it today.
Was there a high point for you? I mean, I would imagine that there were many high points.
Oh, yes.
But I would also imagine that something happened during that period of time that you were there, be it as George Barbour, the reporter, or George Barbour, the person, that almost changed your life in some way. Is that accurate?
It is to this degree. I recall the last day of the march. A number of things that I've had a belief in God. I have had a belief in the United States and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and so forth and like that. And I have had a belief in people when they are determined to do something. The last day of the march, as things were really rough, and we were coming into Montgomery, and it was hot, terribly hot, all of a sudden there was just an outburst, a downpour, just almost like a monsoon, like the good Lord had opened up the heavens, just sent down a deluge of rain. I mean, it really rained. But it only rained for about 10 or 12 minutes. And it just refreshed all of us. And then there was a beautiful rainbow there. And being a religious type of guy, I could see, I was praying all the way, incidentally. Then also, just at that time, as the sun burst through, there were a number of rednecks who broke out of their car and attacked a number of us guys, the newsmen, especially a white photographer from Arkansas, I think it was. So it was almost spontaneous reaction of all the News Corps there in a violent way that protected this person. But then just to see the 50,000 people, of all races, creeds, and colors coming triumphantly into Montgomery, Alabama, in such a way that it symbolized that there was going to be a new day. Plus, and I have to tell you this, whenever we were covering Dr. King's address at the state capitol. I happened to look up, and at that time I had good eyesight. In the later years I said, no, you didn't see that, but I did see it. I looked up, and on the left-hand side of the Capitol building at the top, there was a little black child at the top of the building, the same way I used to climb up buildings to get a good view of things. He was up there, and a state trooper came and took him out of there, but he was there. And to me that symbolized that this was indeed going to be a new South. And I'm happy to have been able to cover it, because this Voting Rights Act led to this Voting Rights March led to the Voting Rights Act, which transformed the South indeed politically wise, and brought in the first president of the South since I don't know when, Jimmy Carter, that can attribute and has given credit to the Voting Rights Act as a reason why he was elected to office. So, Lynn, I would say it kind of fortified the belief and the thrust that I already had.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Stick around. I'll be back with closing thoughts in just a minute.